Joseph Patrick Murphy, the best immigration lawyer in this town. Good afternoon, brother. How are you?
Good afternoon, Marty. Nice to have you. Nice to be on.
Um, I sent you this piece from the PG, which is fascinating. That this
Yes.
growing group of, I would say, of folks who support the immigrants is gathering with the intention of, in essence, pointing out ICE sucks. Why are you here? You suggest that's not a good plan, don't you, sir?
Well, and to a certain extent, you're playing right into the hands of the Trump administration. I've been talking about this for months. They don't have a very big deportation force, and I think they're relying on shock and fear to get people to self-deport. It's a much more cost-effective and less dangerous method of accomplishing their agenda. So, if you're working everybody up with this app and reporting ICE sightings and you're adding to the environment of fear. I know people have it anyway, and they feel like this gives them some control. But what are you really going to do? You're going to report that ICE arrested somebody and they're gone and they're not at some place anymore. I have even seen, I don't know if it's this particular system that the Post-Gazette was writing about, but I have even seen around here systems like this abused, where people put reports into the system that a competitor's business had ICE in there arresting people just to get. Oh yeah. We've all read the Crucible. We know how people can be, and it's already being used in that way, much like the Salem witch trials were used to off enemies and people you don't like.
Joseph Patrick Murphy, prominent immigration attorney who I was texting with and bothering him actually quite a bit yesterday on his Sunday. but he's so engaged and so tied into this that I have to, because he's the best out there. I got an inside tip that ICE was planning to go after, to arrest, to deport, legally, I would argue, and they would too, older teens from the Holy Family Institute. You've heard the same thing, haven't you, sir?
Yeah, it was really kind of unusual because it appears to have been targeted exclusively at Guatemalan children.
Yes.
There's been rumblings about this. You hear from different things. You start seeing court dates canceled. That's kind of the tip-off if they're not planning on having them here for court. And then it started around 1:30 a.m. Central Time. Children were awakened at one of these centers, very similar to the one we have, and they told them, we're going to the airport, kids. And they took, I think the total was 76 children who were processed for a flight. Some of the lawyers who've been watching and seeing which way the wind was blowing were aware that this could and probably would happen sometime soon. They went right to the judge and they got that stopped. It doesn't look like all the kids have been returned. It doesn't look like any of the planes got off the ground. Maybe one did.
But this is the plan, by the way. This is the Trump plan. These kids don't have family here. Get them the hell out of here, in essence, putting it mildly, right?
Well, some of those kids have very good claims. Some of them may have been trafficked and have valuable information for the government. They will give them green cards and stuff eventually if they're cooperating and supplying information. Some of them have valid asylum claims. Some of them are victims of abuse. They're running away from abusive parents, perhaps. They're entitled to do things here, too. But interestingly, the government has taken the position that Guatemala itself requested the return of their children to avoid them aging into adult detention.
Wow.
But so I don't know if this is something, and I'm not making, Guatemala is a great place. I'm certainly not going to make fun of Guatemala.
No.
But over the last 10 or 12 years, the vast majority of people that we've gotten aren't real. It seems to be from Guatemala and not even Mexico. I mean, they all go through Mexico. But there's an awful lot, like they're disproportionately represented Guatemalans. But it makes sense that any kind of sweep like this would contain more Guatemalans, but this is exclusively them. And I suspect that's probably part of how they were able to get an injunction against this sort of behavior.
Yeah, so people know this. This was just put on hold. This has been, in essence, been put on hold by a federal judge, has it not, sir?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, it goes. There's a hearing coming up. I got a notes here.
By the way, he's so good. He's going through paperwork coming down right now. That's why I love him. Joseph Patrick Murphy.
14-day hold, temporary restraining order. 14 days from August 31st, so that would be September 14th.
I love the fact that you're so engaged. So just so people know, You've never, ever been buried like this in your whole career, ever, have you, sir?
Oh no, oh no. I mean, I've been through it a couple times
Yeah.
here. The last great big wave of migration was people from the Soviet Union. A lot of them showed up here in Western Pennsylvania. I ended up marrying one.
It's amazing.
But like today, I was triple booked in immigration court. I've got people in the lobby right now waiting for me. I've got to go to a traffic court because it's an absolute nightmare. One of these non-citizens gets caught in a traffic stop, and it can very quickly spiral into detention, deportation, very expensive immigration court hearings. So, you've got to manage that too. And
I cannot let you go
busy, Marty.
because this is pertinent and relevant. The Emiliano's a case where they raised 150 grand almost to help these immigrants. Yep. And you represented quite a few of them, and 2 have been deported. Have you seen, or has anyone seen a red cent from that GoFundMe account, sir?
Not my lady, and she's suffering costs. That kid's looking at deportation, and it may end up being a matter of budget. And I'm going to tell you something.
Wow.
If that kid gets deported because they wouldn't give his family money to help him, well, I'm not going to let that happen, but
there could be other claims, is what you're trying to, right? There could be other claims.
Yeah, that's right. When they give money to a charity for the benefit of a third party, that third party has rights to that money.
No.
If I go to a car dealership and give them $50,000 and say I'm buying a Cadillac for Marty, and you go there and they won't give it to you, you can sue them, even though the contract was with me. So that's what's going on here. These people gave a lot of money to whoever. I don't even know. We call it the Emiliano's fundraiser. Nominally, we don't know who organized
They
this.
never returned any of our calls or any of our. We tried to get info. Right. We tried to get them. Not a word. Nothing. Right. Zero.
And I've heard the names of other organizations attached to this thing. So, you don't know where the money's going. You don't know who's controlling it. But what I do know is it's not going to the persons that it was collected for.
My man, Joseph Patrick Murphy, the best going. I appreciate your candor. Truth to power, my man. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Marty. Bye-bye.
Best in the biz.
Listen to KDKA Radio on the Odyssey